Hi, welcome to Montana State of Mind with me, Montana. Boy, howdy. I know I'm recently doing these romance novel recaps. I'm really enjoying them. They are not a bad time whatsoever because this book that we are going to be discussing today, Louisiana Caress, this novel is ridiculous in the best way. Again, I want my channel to be about positivity and enjoying the camp and the antics and the craziness in these novels because it's so easy to hate on them. Everybody's hating on stuff nowadays. So this novel, I finished it yesterday and I was speechless at the ending. And I'm not saying that to entice you to watch and like, oh my God, you can't believe. I'm literally just being honest with you. The ending to this novel is absolutely ridiculous. I was wondering how it was going to wrap up. I had no clue it was going to do this. So you can cheat and skip ahead if you want to hear the ending. Don't bother me none. I still get the view. But I hope you do stay and listen to me make a fool of myself because I will be doing accents. I will be doing a lot of terrible, terrible accents. I will be making commentary. We'll be having a good time like we always do with these. Now, real quick, I just want to address my last video. I was having an allergic reaction to eyelash extensions. I'm having a real... This is just some housekeeping that you can skip ahead. I don't care. But I'm having a real hard beauty month. Like my hair dye went way too dark on me. It went brown. I'm red. I'm a redhead and it went brown on me. So I'm trying to get back to that. And then the eyelash extensions I got, I had an allergic reaction. So I look high as a kite in that last video. And then I don't know. So as my friend told me, we're just in a chrysalis month here. We're just in a little cocoon of just working on that glow up. We're just working on that glow up that we'll have this fall, hopefully.
I will be a beautiful butterfly, and then everything will be better.
But don't you hate when you have a bad beauty month where you just can't, like, you're breaking out. I got dermatitis like crazy right here. At least I got my nails done. Now, just to summarize Louisiana Caress, if you don't want to stay this whole video, because they're usually like 2 hours long. I'm sorry, I can really ramble. It is the story of a nun, a sister, who's struggling with her relationship with God. And before she makes her vows, needs to kind of go on a rumspringer, if you will, and see what the world's all about and if this is truly what she wants to do. And boy, does she go on a rumspringer of a rumspringer because she gets involved in the whole entire French Revolution against the Spanish during the time when King Louis sold Louisiana to the Spanish. And the French were just like, non. And she gets involved, to say the least, and chaos ensues. I really struggled with... let's look at these characters real quick. So this is my cover. Look at them. Now, I know we've discussed before how inaccurate some of these covers can be. This one, however, is very accurate because, let me see if I can get the detail. Like, this is Chance and Desiree, the Chad Dillon Cooper and Sonny Monroe of the French Quarter, if you've ever watched Sonny with a Chance.
You're...
Him. Chad Dillon Cooper.
I'm such an idiot.
No, you're not. Look at how fast you figured that out.
I want people to know me for who I am.
And I want people to know me for who I'm not.
I need to tell you something. In case I don't make it.
Okay.
I love...
Yes?
I mean, I deeply love...
Go on.
...that more kids will be reading less books because of Chad Dillon Cooper.
Chance is a vigilante called La Licorne, the unicorn. And I will say it is very accurate to his representation because he has his little chapeau, his little hat. He has his little cape. Even his sword, you can't really tell the glare, but his sword is a unicorn. And I will be saying it like that every time. I have to. And then she, of course, in this novel, she is 19. Yay, another child bride. But she is in this, 1980s taffeta dream with her perm. Like, who knew a nun had a set of curlers back in the convent? But this is an accurate representation of them. Not what I pictured reading it, because I don't know. I just didn't. She's pretty good. I did picture her probably looking like that, but him, I pictured. I don't know who I pictured really. I honestly just kept picturing Sterling Knight again from Sunny with a Chance, because that's just the vibe he was given. Was just like this silly, charismatic, sarcastic young idiot that we all love. Like, I honestly love Chance. I want the best for him. Desiree, I want the best for her. Because again, she's a baby and she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. You'll see. So this is an accurate representation. Great. Their relationship is not as awesome as Alexa and Sharif's. It is not as healthy as theirs, but it is not a Landis, Tandis, Cat fucking mess. Okay. It's an in-between. It's an in-between of, again, these people probably shouldn't be together. But because this is a romance novel, they will. But I did notice in these novels, we've only read 3 so far, so I can't necessarily say this is going to be a genre archetype. But if you're playing along at home, a lot of daddy issues in these novels. A lot of these novels, the heroine, if you will, is catapulted by a desire of a relationship with her father. Or her father's actions have led her to this path. So I wonder, my armchair expert psychologist, if you will, I'm wondering if, because the authors themselves probably didn't have super tight relationships with their fathers at this time, because dads just weren't involved back then. I'm not saying not all dads. I'm just saying stereotypically dads just weren't super involved. So I'm wondering if this is coming from a place of like all of these female authors back then were like really needing their dads to be present, much like the heroines in this novel. Because my God, the dad in this novel, what a piece of shit. He's a piece of fucking shit. I'm gonna be honest. And I might not get monetized because I just cussed. I'm slowly learning monetization on YouTube, and it's a mess. So do know this is not for the money, because I ain't making shit off of it. And I'm not going to stop doing fucking clips and cussing because what? I lose $50.
Said, bitch, get in the car now, because I lay it out.
Oh, no, you got to.
But the dad in this book is a mess. You're not going to like him. You're not going to like him. But again, I wonder if the authors themselves, I would love for this to pop off enough that I could go find one of these authors and talk to them about their process. And again, I am a staunch feminist, so much so that my husband is like, if people met you, they would be surprised to know that you had a husband, how much I am critical of the male species. But the girls in this novel and the guys, the girls infuriate me so much. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? What is happening? It's crazy that I'm rooting for the men. It's crazy that I adore Chance in this, and I'm completely on his side. Desiree, she gets a pass because she's a child. She's like 19, so she gets a pass. Holy crap, though. I just feel even at 19, I don't know. We'll get into her choices. Just another thing. This is written by Terry Valentine. Now, I know everybody really loved my Janelle Taylor lore. So let's get into let's build some Terry Valentine lore. Because, again, these women must be a good time to write some of this stuff. They must be very creative. Miss Terry looks, she gives the vibes of, she orders a 7 and 7 at the local casino, and she watches the horse races and bets a lot. And she can keep up with the men like that. Like, she also likes to tie a cherry stem with her tongue and show off to the young bartenders. She's kind of giving, if you've watched Drop Dead Gorgeous, she's kind of giving the vibe of the friend of the mom. It is escaping me. I love that movie so much, but it is escaping me right now. But she's kind of giving that friend where she's like kind of rough and kind of like assertive and aggressive, But she left the men.
Stop right there. You are a good person. Good things happen to good people. No, it's pure bullshit, sweetie. You're lucky as hell, so you might as well enjoy it. Let's get you a root beer float.
Okay.
You guys want some shots? I'm buying.
And she's going to get some whenever she wants. But she's also, again, going to smoke a cigar and, you know, play poker with your dad. Kind of like a Phil and Lil's mom vibe, where you're just like, is she wearing lesbian lake sandals? Maybe. She's never going to be in a heel. But she's also probably going to pull one of your boyfriend's friends. Because she's just got that game. She's just got some allure about her. This power, you know. Look at this like perm mullet. That is a hairdo that only few can pull off. And she is. Now, if her and Miss Janelle are at the table at your mom and dad's like grill party, you know, Miss Janelle is absolutely sitting there with like some sequin sunglasses that she bedazzled herself. And she is enjoying a wine cooler, and she's complaining about the sugar content because it's kind of getting to her head and it's a little warm, and she's bitching about that. And she brought a Jell-O salad. And then Miss Terry is drinking a brown liquor of some sort, a brandy, a whiskey. It is sweating. She is sweating. She's wearing a visor. She's wearing, again, aggressive water sports sunglasses. But she's giving Miss Janelle a good time as they are, you know, checking out the young bucks playing tennis across the street. Like, they're hooting and hollering, having a good time, but very different aesthetics. I used to bartend, so I'm very good at building people lore, because I kind of know. You can kind of, once you, if not even bartending, if you've been a waitress or any kind of like waiter or server, you're very good at characterizing certain people's aesthetics and knowing exactly who you're dealing with at the moment they walk in the door. All right. I have rambled on enough about myself, Miss Terry, this cover. So without further ado, let us put on our habits, grab our rosaries, and discuss Louisiana Caress. Now, I made sure to not eat a big breakfast and drink a lot of coffee. Like, I am kind of like shaking a little bit. So I could have a lot of energy to tell you this story, because this story requires a lot of energy because a lot has happened. This takes place in the span of about less than a week, and a lot of stuff happens. Now, this, of course, takes place in New Orleans, because any book in Louisiana takes place in New Orleans. There are no other cities. There are no other towns. There is nothing in Louisiana except New Orleans. Everything takes place. Is this how like New York State people feel when like everything's written about New York City? Because like Louisiana has a ton of other places. If you're from Louisiana, I'm from Shreveport, the 318. And now Shreveport's more closer to like East Texas than it is New Orleans. And we're kind of like the ugly stepchild of Louisiana, in the sense that a lot of Louisiana people don't claim us. You will never find, I'm sorry, this is a tangent. You will never find more gatekeeping than a Louisiana person with other Louisiana people. No one will gatekeep harder. I have been down to New Iberia, which is down by the Gulf, and they will still be like, where are you from in New Iberia? Unless you are in a shrimp boat in the Gulf waters, it is never south enough. Anyways, like even Covington people, my family in Ville Platte, I got family in Natchitoches. It is never enough for some natives, and they give you a real hard time. But I digress. But anyways, I'm from Shreveport. We're kind of the ugly stepchild because we're not quite like Cajun enough, but then we're not Appalachian enough, but then we're not Texas enough. And so we have like a weird accent that kind of flows in all of those. And then we've got like just weird, like we'll wear cowboy boots and drink moonshine and make gumbo. Like it's crazy, but I love it. I don't live there anymore. Hey, 50 Cent recently moved his crew there and they're trying to revamp Shreveport. So can't wait to see what you do, 50. So this takes place in New Orleans in 1769. It had to be 69. Of course, my perverted self was just like, it had to be 69. Okay. Okay, Miss Terry. Now, there is a poem at the beginning that I will recite to you, class. Okay. So hush. It is called The Unicorn. Yond forest havens many noble creatures, but none so majestic as the unicorn. His eyes the color of honor, the proud arch of his neck the symbol of truth. So beware, foolish maiden sent to betray him. Whilst he lay his head upon your lap, his magic horn will seduce you, leaving you the captive instead of the huntress. Anonymous. We open with Desiree Dufour, of which let us look at her name and understand it is Desire. She is a nun as well as a midwife. She is struggling currently with witnessing women and babies die in childbirth left and right. She wants nothing to do with childbirth herself. She wants nothing to do with love because it scares her, the product of some cases of love. The idea of having sex with a man and getting pregnant and either like you dying or your baby dying or both terrifies her. Rightfully so. Rightfully so. So she's already like, we're like 2 pages in and she's struggling with God because why would God allow this? And she has this moment where she's like, well, if you wanted a kiss from something sweet and cute, just kiss a puppy. They're so cute. Just get a little lick from a puppy. That's all you need. And 3 pages in, a puppy gets ran over by a carriage. And the scene is, get ready for Montana's one-woman show. Anyways, and so the scene is she's walking, she's saying, oh, just kiss a wee little puppy. It's so cute. Why would you need a man? And then she hears a woman screaming, no, no. My puppy, my bonbon, my friend, mon ami. And she looks and this woman's crying and she's holding this dead freaking dog that got ran over by a carriage. And she's just like, oh my God. And she's now struggling like, no, not the puppies, God. Why must you take away the babies and the puppies? What kind of God are you? She's struggling because God's maiming babies. He's maiming puppies. You know, ain't no rest for the wicked. And the woman is screaming and Desiree's trying to console her. She's a nun. This is her civic duty, is to be there when your dog gets hit by a car. And out comes this hand holding a bunch of notes, money. And he is like, in this gravelly voice, like, for your troubles, madame. And the woman is like, non, you killed my, oh, monsieur. And she like looks down and she's scared and she takes the money and she's like, I'm so sorry. I will go. And she picks up her dead puppy and she scuttles away. And Desiree's like, no, he hit your puppy. We must, like she wants to yell at this man. And she looks and she sees a growling dog in the dark of this carriage. And she looks and she sees a dark hooded figure. And it is Le Boisseux, the hunchback. Again, we are 4 pages in. A dog has been hit. She's struggling with God and a hunchback shows up. That's the pace we're going at. And Le Boisseux shows up. And she's so terrified because Le Boisseux, the hunchback, is the judge in the city. And no one has seen his face. They just know he's a hunchback and he's very deformed. He keeps his face hidden. And he's just a very scary entity in New Orleans. And she has this moment where she says, and I'm not going to do this in a French accent because it's a lot. But anyways, but supplications, no matter how humble and earnest, wouldn't bring back the dead. Neither Loe nor the puppy, nor would it give the newborn baby, an orphan now, a mother's breast at which to suckle, nor the woman in the streets a silken head to stroke, her mouth turned down, death and love intertwining in her mind like a thorny briar, smothering out the beauty of the rose, making it undesirable. Nor would prayers assure that her own mother, Jeanne-Louise Dufour, would fare any better in the mortal battle. Any day now, she was due to deliver her 5th infant. Childbearing came with no guarantees, not even under the best conditions. Women bore the pain and potential the threat of death, and most never complained. 'Twas their lot in life, their joy. Her mother had insisted, smiling even as she was told she was taking a terrible risk having another baby. Desiree could see no logic in finding joy in such a dreadful, degrading, uncertain fate. She has 2 weeks until she takes her vow to become like an official nun, you know, where she like marries God. And I didn't know this, but back in the day, I know not now, but back in the day, and maybe now in some places, nuns shaved their heads as a sign of like getting rid of their vanity, because in a lot of cultures, hair is very important, and hair means a lot in other cultures. And even in little white culture, you know, little French white culture, it's a sign of beauty. And a woman's hair is a sign of her beauty. It's a symbol of where she is in life. If she's wearing it up, she's down. It's a very big moniker in a lot of cultures of where you are in life, which is wild. Which I guess could be said for today. Like I said, my hair is a fucking mess right now. Anyways, and so she pulls her habit off and she's staring in the mirror, and her beautiful chestnut hair, her gorgeous perm, you know, her natural perm is flowing down, and she's just wondering, you know, if she can cut her hair, if she can make this vow, because she's struggling so much. Struggle. She hears God in the garden, and she sees Sister Therese talking to a man upon a horse, and he has beautiful golden hair like a halo. And she has this moment, it made me laugh. She has this moment of, she's like, oh my God, is he an angel? And she's like, no, he is too natural of a beauty. He has this rugged masculinity of a pagan god. And she likens him to, he is nothing of our God, for he is more pagan. He has this natural rugged masculinity of a pagan god. And I couldn't help but imagine her sitting there being like, no, this could not be an angel. This has to be a pagan god, you know. And Thor and Zeus are up in like, you know, heaven or whatever. And they're just like, ew. And Jesus is sitting there just like, what the fuck? Like, wow, Desiree, wow. I mean, I wore a loose fitting tunic just because it was like easier to go from daytime to nighttime events. But I mean, wow. And then Thor and Zeus are just like, you know, if we would have been on that cross, we would have broke it off, boy. We would have started meleeing people, but you just stood there. So I just couldn't help but picture, you know, the pagan gods just sitting there being like, of course she thinks he's rugged and handsome. He must be pagan. And then Jesus just being like, what the fuck? Wow. Didn't know this was a pageant, Desiree. And she notices, like, is he riding a unicorn? Because the horse he is on has a golden horn. And now we jump to the said man in question. It kind of jumps between Desiree and Chance, our Chad Dillon Cooper.
Sunny, cloudy, rainy. We have names. Yeah, but remembering them would take effort and interest, and excuse me.
And now Chance is blonde, blue eyes, you know, woohoo. He is kind of the Creole Batman of the French Quarter, if you will. He wears a mask and a cape. He has a butler named Philippe. His dad is the Duke of France, and he got kicked out of France for being a revolutionary. He has a horse named Cavalier. We love an animal sidekick. And now he kind of gives like Captain Phoebus and Achilles vibes from the Hunchback of Notre Dame, or like a Philip Samson kind of vibe. Like Cavalier is fantastic. We love Cavalier. We love Cavalier. And the horn that Cavalier wears, it is a literal gold horn that Chance straps onto his head before he goes and does vigilante things. And it is a symbol of freedom as the Spanish are taking over Louisiana. Now, Desiree recalls Sister Therese's talk with La Licorne, and that is his superhero name, if you will. It's La Licorne. And I'm going to be honest, she has a wet dream. She's so riled by his pagan magnetism that she then sleeps on the floor to punish herself for having such thoughts. To which I'm like, there's that Catholic guilt. I'm so nostalgic for it. Oh, we love Catholic guilt. Like, if you don't feel bad for enjoying something, what are you doing? Are you living life? And she goes to confession, and I found this interesting because Father says, your sin child is not the one you imagine it to be. Your failing is false pride, seeing yourself as better than the rest of us. Perhaps you need to rethink your position. That in and itself will be punishment enough for the transgression you have committed. So what he's essentially saying is she's confessing that she had lustful thoughts for La Licorne. And the Father is kind of like, well, of course you did. We're human, girl. That's our struggle. That's our testament. That's our pursuit in life, is to overcome these. And for you to think that you would be without of these means that you think that you're kind of like better than everybody else. And he's like, oh, you're so prideful. He has a point. It's a weird thing, but like if you had a good father in your Catholic life, he has a point of you will struggle in life. No one's perfect, and he's just like, to think that you're above sin is pride. So I kind of get where he's talking about. And so she goes to Mother Superior for advice. She wants to know who this man was that Sister Therese was talking to. And she she has this moment where she's like, maybe I'm insane. Maybe I'm crazy. And Mother Superior has this. And she says, blessed are the gifted we call insane. Perhaps they have been touched by the hand of God like no other. And I just like that. I thought that was really profound. It's not important to the plot. I just liked it. And so Mother Superior immediately, when she hears like, oh, Sister Therese was talking to La Licorne, what is happening? And she's just like, no. No, I don't know what you were talking about. No. Okay. So Mother Superior kind of gets caught in a lie, and Desiree's kind of like, okay. Desiree and Sister Therese are riding to the indigo plantation. Now, a lot of monasteries and convents have a side hustle that's where they make a lot of their money. Here in Arkansas, there is a brotherhood that sells hot sauce. They make and sell their own hot sauce, which is wild because a lot of Arkansas people don't use hot sauce. They need to, but I digress. And there's also a vineyard, I think. Hot sauce and wine. Real Catholic of you. Now they are going to the indigo plantation because they make indigo. And La Licorne pops up. He snatches her off the wagon. And she has this moment where she just gives it to God. She just gives it to God. She don't know where this man is taking her. She don't know what's happening. And she's just like, gives it to God. He drops her off at the plantation. And she doesn't understand. She's never heard of La Licorne. And she asks him, why are you dressed this way? You look like a fool. And he has this cute moment that I imagine is like this, where he's like, you don't, and he's like pointing to the horse with the horn. And he's like, you've never heard of, oh, you don't know. Oh, well, you're in a convent. Of course, you're in a convent. You wouldn't know. It'd probably be unsafe for you to know who I was. I'm kind of a big deal. Kind of the revolutionary symbol. And he asks, are you a nun? And she's like, but of course. And he asks, because she's so gosh darn pretty. And he says, did your daddy put you away to protect you because you are so beautiful? And so they're kind of having a moment of, she's just like, you look like a fool. And he's like, you don't know who I am? I'm kind of a big deal. Cut to Le Bossu, the hunchback. And he is at a dinner with the Etienne Dufour, which is Desiree's daddy, and another French general, and then a Spanish general named Major Narvaez, and then And then General O'Reilly. And he's a big Irish guy that represents Spain. Weird. Weirder things have happened, though. They're at a dinner. I'll cut to the chase because it's a lot of political banner. It's a lot of stuff about King Louis sold Louisiana to the Spanish. The Spanish are taking over, yada, yada, yada. And Etienne Dufour and the French guys are all arrested for planning an insurgence against the Spanish. General O'Reilly is like, arrest them all. And Le Boisseux, he is a Frenchman, but he is seen as a traitor because he kind of knew this was going to happen and he didn't warn anybody. And he's kind of like working for the Spanish. So he's very archetype of a bad guy in this novel. Him, Major Narvaez, who's the Spaniard, and General O'Reilly. These are the three bad guys. Cut to Desiree is helping her mama give birth to her little baby brother. And at this moment, she wonders if it is fear that motivates her vow to God and not love. She wonders, which is a very intelligent thing to wonder when you are at the crux of why you are following a religion. Are you following out of love of your God, or are you following a fear if you don't love your God? Very good question for a 19-year-old to have. It's one of her smarter moments. Not many, but one of them. And it's a very beautiful moment of her mother is suckling her new baby boy, and she's still worried about her daughter. You know, as she's literally like just gave birth and has a baby attached to her, she is still very concerned for her daughter. Where are you going? What are you doing? You know, mothers never stop. Desiree, at this time, we officially learn that she is 19. We learn of the insurrection and that her dad was a part of it. Desiree is very upset. And this whole book, you will see that she struggles with the notion of freedom because she's been in a convent since she was like 8 years old, which is wild. They only sent her. She's one of 5 kids? She has other sisters. She's the only one they sent to a convent. I would have questions. And it doesn't show her placement in her siblings, but I think she's the oldest. I don't know. But they sent her to a convent. She's 8, but not her sisters. I don't know. I'd have questions if I were her, but she never questions it. I don't know. She struggles with the notion of freedom because she's been in a convent since she was 9. So she has always essentially been told to sit down and shut up. She has always been told there is like a convent's not the most super freeing place. So the notion of freedom is very lost upon her. She does not understand the big deal, why her father would put her family in danger for freedom, why La Licorne would put the citizens of Louisiana in danger for freedom. She's like, you're getting a lot of people killed. For what? So she says, I will go rescue Papa. I will get him out of prison. And she will then gain the honor she seeks internally to be worthy of the sisterhood. Because right now she doesn't think she's worthy of the habit. She's kind of not. Let's be honest, this girl is 19. She's really horny. She's probably feeling a lot of hormones, which is natural. And I just feel like she's gonna make a lot of haste decisions based on those hormonal feelings, we'll learn. We cut to Chance. He threatens General O'Reilly in like a little escapade, if you will, of like, get out of here. This is Louisiana is for the French. And O'Reilly is just like, look, you lunatic in a stupid mask and a unicorn. Like, get out of here. There is a kerfuffle in the town square, if you will, of General O'Reilly is like, you know, I am the new leader of this area and the Spanish will be in control. And if you behave, everything will go on as normal. Nothing will change except a lot of things will be in Spanish. No big deal. And of course, Chance is riling up the people of like, no, you know, liberté, la licorne, la freedom. And Desiree is just sitting there like, this is stupid. Everybody's going to get killed because they won't just like let things be turned into Spanish. It's really stupid. In her opinion. I'm not saying in general. Obviously, me and you know the outcome of this, but it's fun to read. Now, she saves her friend. Her friend makes an altercation of, Major Narvaez killed my husband, threw him off a ship. He is murdering good Frenchmen without a trial. And General O'Reilly doesn't believe her, thinks she's a lunatic woman. Now, this friend's husband's death is very important in the novel. Desiree saves her. Says, because like the Spanish guards are coming after her because she's like a lunatic woman screaming, threatening the general. And Desiree's like, I got her, guys. I'll take her home. Don't worry. Desiree, meanwhile, goes back to the mansion that has all the bad guys, the headquarters, if you will. And she begs for her father's freedom because she's an idiot. And she thinks if you ask nicely, they'll just be like, okay. Her father, though, knows La Licorne. And therefore, she is questioned because they're like, this is your daddy? Oh, so you must know him too. And then Desiree says, no. And I love this part because she shows up to ask for her father's freedom in a, not a nun's outfit. Because she wears one of her mother's dresses because she low-key feels that if she's going to do this mission, she needs to do it kind of out of the habit, which sounds like a Sister Act title. She needs to do it as a free woman, therefore she can learn where she stands with her relationship with her religion. Again, kind of a rumspringer. She's in this revealing dress, and General O'Reilly is just like, leave it to the French to send their nuns to be their whores. Because obviously he thinks that she's propositioning him. Like, if you set my daddy free, I will rub your back. And he's just like, wow, leave it to the French to send their religious sisters to do their dirty work, which I thought was funny. General O'Reilly does not have the time for this little 19-year-old. He's just like, no. And so he leaves her with Major Narvaez. And he's like, you handle her. I ain't got the time. I can't address every little wife and daughter that's screaming that I got their daddy or I got their husband. Like, no. And so he's like, Major Narvaez, do what you will with her. Cut to O'Reilly and Le Boisseux are kind of talking down the hallway. And they have this moment of O'Reilly says, oh, I should have left her with you, Le Boisseux. That would have been much bigger punishment. Pretty much just saying, you're so ugly that you sexually assaulting her would be a bigger punishment than just being sexually assaulted by Major Narvaez. And Le Boisseux obviously is not an idiot, and he understands the intention of that. And of course he's like, non, monsieur, I am not interested in the mademoiselles. To which O'Reilly has like a Zap Brannigan moment where he's like, are you gay?
What are you, gay?
And Le Boisseux, I am not interested in the mademoiselles nor the monsieurs. An ugly person with deformities such as myself does not know love, And he's just pats his dog's head. His dog's name is Griffin. We love another animal companion. And he pets Griffin's head and he's just like, I just have my, Griffin, mon ami. That is all I need. And O'Reilly's just like, okay, if you need men, do that on your own time. And I love this part in the story of Major Narvaez is eyeing Desiree, and she is just terrified, obviously. But she's kind of like low-key horny and terrified this whole book. She's always frightened, but a little horny. It is very much, I can't clip it because SNL has crazy copyright on YouTube, but I'll try to link it below. There's a skit where the girl and her husband are being robbed, but they're kind of like kinkily into it. And that's kind of Desiree's vibe this whole book, is she's, captured and tied, but her breasts are heaving and she's nervously aroused. I don't know. She's in this room with Major Narvaez. And I just imagine him looking out the window, smoking a cigarette. And he's just like, Señorita, You are a virgin, no? And she says, oui. I make my vow in 2 weeks to God. I've never known a man's touch. And he says, you will be our lure to get La Licorne. Monsieur, moi? But why? And I just imagine a dramatic pause. And he says, what better way to lure a unicorn than with a virgin maiden such as yourself? Monsieur! I just imagine like such a telenovela scene of that, like close. To Chance, and he's a hoot. He gives very big Prince Naveen vibes. Just a fun Creole guy. Like he says to Philippe gives him a hard time of, you should stop doing all this vigilante stuff. It has me shaking in my bones. And he's just like, you sure that's not your rheumatoid arthritis? So he has a sense of humor. He's a good time. And we learn that his saber is a unicorn horn. And it is a family heirloom that was passed down to him. And that is why he is La Licorne. It's because of his family heirloom of this saber that is a unicorn horn. We love a cute accessory. And now Desiree sneaks onto Sister Therese's wagon. And she sees this big box. And she's like, oh my God, it's a dead body. She's very nervous, but she has to see where Sister Therese is taking this because she knows she is taking it to La Licorne. She knows Sister Therese is involved in something. And as nervous as she is, the idiot falls asleep. So she doesn't know how she gets there. She's not a very good spy. There is a secret swamp road because they're going out to the swamps. And the revolutionaries have put boards in some of the shallower areas of the swamp so that they can literally walk through the swamp to get to their campment, which is smart. And obviously, La Licorne, he finds Desiree hiding in the wagon. And Sister Therese is like, no, she's a good child. She's a good child. She would never lie. And she's, again, in this very revealing dress. And Chance has this funny moment where he's like looking at her boobs and her and back at Sister Therese. And he says, this is y'all's good nuns? Okay. This y'all's good nuns. I'd hate to see the bad ones. Where you keep the bad sisters at.
We're here collecting lingerie for needy, sexy people.
He blindfolds her so that she cannot learn the location of their encampment. And she is so horny. It is ridiculous. She is pulsating with hormones at this moment in time. She is so caroused by him. She's so attracted and so scared. Like this is going to be a kink for her, obviously. Chance wavers on his cause, which is wild that this 19-year-old nun with, a natural perm causes him to waver on his cause because he kind of is like, she gives him the spiel of her father. And he's like, I am putting a lot of people in danger by acting like an ass and running around the French Quarter dressed as a unicorn. Is it worth it? Yes. The sisters bicker, Sister Therese, as well as Desiree, because Desiree's like, what the hell are you doing? What the fuck, Sister Therese? Come to find out, it's a cannon. The Sister Therese is pulling a literal cannon to the encampment. And of course, can we please discuss Desiree is head to chest with Chance at this moment in time as they are, flirting, if you will. Because he's like, what the hell do I do with this girl? She now kind of like knows who I am, knows where we are to an extent. And she wants to free her dad. Like, what am I? This is such a cog in my plan. But she's really pretty. She's really hot. And I hate height kinks. Let it be known that if you will not talk to a man or a woman unless they are a certain size, you have a height fetish. Because let it be known that a kink is something that is fun to have while you're having sex, but you don't need it. Whereas a fetish is you cannot have sex with someone unless they are 6'5". And this is my personal opinion, but if you are only attracted to mon petites, little girls, or ginormous, grande boys, you're missing out on a lot of fun people who might not meet those qualifications. I would know. I am 5'9". I'm a tall drink of water. And if I had to wait around for every guy that was taller than me growing up, I would have missed out on a lot of super amazing and super fun boyfriends. So please, I don't understand the need and the desire to be so little because she's so little. Oh my goodness, he's so big. She has to look up at him. Her head comes to his big manly chest. Oh, and he grabs her wrist and is so little. What the fuck? It's just so, we see it all the time. I'm so tired of reading about little baby women and these big men that are just picking them up and tossing them like a rag doll. Again, you're missing out on some great short kings and men or whatever. If you're into little petite little girls, you're missing out on some big Amazon princesses. There's this little section right here I want to read to y'all. To be brushed aside as insignificant by those around her was totally new experience for Desiree. It left her shaken and forlorn. Her narrow existence had once been comprised of the convent, the hospital, and the chapel. She was accustomed to people reaching out to her for solace, listening to her, trusting her, respecting her for what she represented. And those she had turned to for guidance and help had given her their undivided attention as well, whenever she'd ask for it. It was hard to accept that Desiree Dufour was not nearly as important as Sister Marie had been. Her convent name was Sister Marie. But in that brief moment of time, she came to realize that all her cloistered life had meant to her was place of refuge from who and what she really was. And now, although she had never asked to do so, she was being forced to face the facts. She was much too self-centered to have ever become a good nun. And here, I think, is a really important part where we realize, again, her sin is pride throughout this whole book. And she realizes the only reason she really enjoyed being a nun was because people needed her. They respected her automatically. And even when she was the person who needed help, her sisters and father and mother superior gave her their undivided attention. So again, good on her for realizing maybe a little too prideful to be a nun. If you're a nun, because how many religious people, preachers, whatever, do we know that do it for that narcissistic desire to be wanted and to be needed? Again, a very important point in this novel, written so long ago. Chance calls her sister coquette, which I thought was cute because we know the coquette aesthetic has a little rival. She runs away. Okay. So he keeps her at his camp because he's like, I don't know what to do with you at this moment in time. I've got bigger fish to fry. So if you can just like chill out right here, we will deal with you later. And he thinks that she's just this good, quiet little nun that will just sit there and like pray. Like just sit and pray, do what you do. I got a revolution to run. You're cute. I like you. But I got things to do. And of course, you will see, much like Kat in the previous book, this girl won't sit down. She will not just sit down. Sit. Don't move. I love her to death, but she's like my dog Dolly. I love her to death. But they will not just sit and stay. They always got to go run off towards the road or run off in the neighbor's yard or run off somewhere else. And it's just, God help them. They want to be helpful. Dolly is my basset hound, and she just wants to sniff all the smells. That's what she was bred to do. And so she thinks she's doing a good job by following the scent into the highway. And Desiree is much the same. Cute little thing. Thinks she's helping. Not helping. Anyways, she runs and she gets caught in a trap. And we have this lovely little exchange where you can kind of get the vibe of Chance and Desiree. Bonjour, mademoiselle. I hope the view from there is as pleasing as the one from here. Her eyes widened and she struggled, tugging at her skirts, which were bunched about her shapely thighs. It was a futile attempt. You will let me down this instant, monsieur? This instant, milady. Since when does the little mouse make such audacious demands while in the cat's paws? I am not a rodent. She renewed her struggle and, to his delight, managed only to reveal her most intriguing knees to his perusal once more. And you are not some strutting feline, but a rogue with no respect for me or my position with the church. Ah, back to that, are we, Sister Coquette? I dare say you are no more cut out to be a nun than I was. So you kind of get the vibe. He's adorable. He's a good time. He's very fun. She's very confused. She doesn't know if she wants to be a nun. She don't know if she wants to be a spy. She don't know what she wants to be. Now, keep in mind, once again, she is the only woman at this camp because Sister Therese went back to the convent without her. And so Desiree is alone in this encampment of men, and Chance challenges her loyalty with a kiss, and she fights back like a little hellcat. Good on her. He's outside kind of pissed because he really wanted to and he hears a rumor that General O'Reilly is going to be taking a tour of the swamp soon. Ew. And so he has the plan to test Desiree's loyalty because at this moment in time, she promises him that she wants to help the resistance. We know she's just trying to get close to La Licorne for the Spanish so that they'll free her father. But she's struggling with that too because Chance is super hot. Would you give up your father's life for a really hot guy? Some of us would. Some of us would gladly. So Chance has the idea of we will make Desiree come along with our help with O'Reilly in this swamp tour. And we will test her loyalty because if she is a wanted woman, then the Spanish will be after her too. So she dresses in boy drag. She puts on a mask too. They have little masks to give her. It's so cute. We love a group uniform moment, don't we? Come to find out though, because she has been in a convent since she was 8 years old, she cannot ride a horse. And Chance and the guys just groan and they're like, oh, this is really going to slow us down. And the guys don't want her to come. They're like, look, we know she's hot and we know you really want to screw her. But this is really kind of dangerous if we bring this girl who can't ride a horse to the robbery. Just seems like a loose cannon kind of thing. So she's barely hanging on. Chance gets frustrated. He yanks her off the horse and they prepare for an ambush. And ambush ensues. Chance is fighting General O'Reilly. And just as he is about to stab O'Reilly in the heart with his unicorn saber, Desiree's horse rears up because she can't ride it, causes a commotion. Everybody's staring at her and her hat and mask fall off. And O'Reilly's like, "Du foie?" And so the men are just like, grab what you can. We got to go. Again, Desiree really slowed down the whole thing. This whole book could have been very short if Chance could have stabbed O'Reilly. But instead, dumbass couldn't ride a horse. Why would you bring her along? They get back to the encampment. They notice that the gold that they stole is not Spanish. It's not Spanish gold. And they learn it is English gold. To which Chance is like, ooh, this is no good. And the men say, oh, gold's gold. Who cares? We care. Chance says, oh, no, we need to care. We need to care where it comes from. Because if the English are working with the Spanish, we are screwed. Okay? We are, because that's two big dogs coming after us. It's hard enough with the Spanish. Now we got the English. And Raul is Chance's best friend, best teammate, compadre, whatever the hell. The Robin to his Batman, if you will. And Raul asks, why is it a big deal if it's the English? To which Chance says, perhaps they fear we will give their New England colonists ideas. The English, the Spanish, the French. Just who does that leave of an international conquest? He smiled, a cautious questioning expression on his face. I believe we are unknowingly created something much larger than ourselves. The promise of a full-scale international rebellion, if that is what we truly seek. And so we're kind of getting an inkling that this French Revolution against the Spanish is teetering to the English colonies. Everybody's kind of understanding this little La Licorne movement might have bigger repercussions now that the English colonies are getting wind of it. And now the English monarchy is like, oh no, can't have that. And they are working with the Spanish to quell all of these American revolutionaries. Because you know, as Americans, we can't be told to do anything. Ugh. He kisses Desiree. She slaps him. Good on her. He's very frustrated that she will not sleep with him. It is very inconvenient. And luckily, Desiree, she's struggling with it because she wants to. You know, my body's telling me yes, but my mind's telling me no. And she's struggling with like, oh, she's a nun. She reflects on her life while taking a bath, as we all do. She struggled, you know, I'm a shitty nun. I'm a shitty spy. A shitty daughter. Where am I in life? What do I do? Who is Desiree Dubois? And as much as I love Chance, this is not my favorite Chance moment. He serenades her. Does he sing Push like Ken does in the Barbie movie? Who knows?
Said I don't know if I've ever been good enough, but I'm a little bit rusty and I think my head is caving in.
But he serenades her. She loves it. Fellas, I don't know any girl in the real world that wants to be serenaded. I think the Barbie movie really encompassed how much of a torture that is. Not a lot of girls are super into that. He comes up the stairs with promises of her virginity. And he has this moment that really stuck out to me. If she pushes him away with her hand and he licks her palm. Chance is a freak. He licks her palm. And she, of course, doesn't know how to handle that. And they do not have sex because he, much like Sharif, tells her, I want you willing. I will wait as long as you want, but you will come to me willingly. I will not take you by force. Which we love to hear. We love to hear. Even though he licked her palm. I don't know what I would do if someone licked my palm as I pushed them away. I guess it depends on who did it. And now Chance has this internal dialogue. Perhaps he was fooling himself to think she could ever understand him or his actions. For what woman, especially one who had grown up in the rigid confines of a convent, could truly comprehend a man's drive and desire to fight for freedom with any means available? A man fought, a woman strove. A man challenged his mortality with gusto. A woman cherished life above all else. A man lusted. A woman loved. A man was action. A woman quiescence. As reassuring as it was to define these differences, it did nothing to assuage his passion or his caution. No matter how different, female strengths were to be respected, For a woman's sharp wit could be deadlier than the rapier's edge. He has this idea, which it's not unheard of, but obviously modern times. But anyways, in the context, this is a very nice-ish view of he's like not degrading women by saying like women could never understand freedom. He is pointing out, however, Desiree's confusion as to why he is so hell-bent on the freedom of his Frenchmen. He's like, well, she couldn't possibly understand. She grew up in a fucking convent. What could she possibly know of freedom? Not wrong. Rude, not wrong. And men go about their desires differently than women at this time. It is a progressive view at the time. Because I feel like he could easily be like, what does this dumb little girl know? She knows nothing. She's just a wee little baby bird. Just a wee little baby bird. She knows nothing of what men think or want. And he does give her credit. And women. Because, you know, he says a woman's wit deadlier than the sword. So he respects women as much as a man at the time could. He honestly thinks more highly of women than some men today think of us. Now we learn that there is a ship. There is a ship that Chance has, and he lets Desiree name it, of which all the guys in the camp. Chance is becoming that guy that has to bring his Yoko Ono everywhere. He's kind of ruining the Beatles with his Yoko Ono. And the guys, they're kind of like, you're kind of ruining the vibe. We're trying to do a revolution, and you keep bringing this girl. Anyways, he's like, guys, what if my girlfriend named the ship? And they're like, okay. She names it La Licorne de Mer, the, you know, sea unicorn. Cute. Chance thinks it's great. She can do no wrong. Chance is like, oh, that's such a cute name. I love it. Guys, isn't she so stinking cute? And Raoul and the gang, it's so cute, Chance. Desiree's so smart. We love her too. And she has the cute, innocent, naive thought that if she can stop the resistance, she can free her dad. She thinks she can literally stop a revolution by just asking nicely. If she thinks she can go and talk to, you know, O'Reilly and go, stop it. Stop it. And he'll go, okay, you're right. This is crazy. What was I thinking? Or vice versa with Chance. She thinks she can just tell Chance, if you love me, you'll stop trying to free Louisiana from the Spanish invasion. And he'll be like, okay, you little scamp. You little scamp. I'll stop a whole revolution for you, girl I met 2 days ago. And I kind of find myself struggling with Desiree because at this moment in time, I'm so frustrated with her. But she's 19. She's 19. She's been raised in a convent. So I can't really get mad at her because the little baby doesn't know crap. And they do have this cute moment because as naive as she is, she keeps up with Chance mentally. And they have very good little digs at each other. Because he says, well, mademoiselle, what do you think of my shoe? It is very small, but very swift. We can run circles around those Spanish. And that is what you plan to do? Run circles around them? I know it's like a small moment, but I just found it funny because he was just like, what do you think of my ride, girl? And she's like, it's kind of tiny. You do know the Spanish have an army. And like, I'm struggling at this point because they're both right. He cannot just give up an entire revolution because of his girlfriend. However, she sees forest for the trees and she sees this literal itty bitty baby camp of some French guys fighting the Spanish army. At this moment in time, the Spanish have been known for their taking overness. You know, go ask literally all of South America. The Spanish Inquisition. I mean, that is a big hydra to take on. And she struggles with, if she can't save her dad, why is she here? Why is she at this camp with this man if she's not focusing on her dad? She's getting distracted. She returns to camp. Sister Therese shows up. She brings really crappy news that the whole convent is now under watch because of Desiree. Because O'Reilly saw her and he was like, there's that nun. And now he thinks the whole entire convent is working with La Licorne, and Desiree's dumb self has put everybody in danger back home. So if Desiree did not feel like crap enough and lost in life with her purpose, feels super crappy now. Chance is gone, by the way. She doesn't know where he is. So Desiree, Chance is gone. He left her like a dog at the house, like, you stay here and be cute. I'm going to be right back. And she's like, he's going to get himself killed. I can't rely on him, his dumb self. He's in a unicorn horn and mask running around the French Quarter being a dumbass. I can't rely on him. I need to get my dad. I got to focus. She sneaks back on Sister Teresa's wagon to go back to town. And as she's sitting there praying in the back of this wagon, just like, please let this work out, a huge thunderclap booms. And she takes it as a sign of like God's really pissed at her. She's like, I'm sorry. And she kind of says, look, if it's my soul versus my dad's life, so be it. To which I can't help but think your dad gave you to a convent when you were like 8 years old. And you have other sisters that he has raised himself. I don't know if I'd be throwing myself for this man. The loyalty she gives her father. We jump to Le Boisseux, the hunchback. He is riding in his carriage. He is riding in his carriage with Griffin. We love Griffin. And we're kind of getting to know them personally. And at this moment in the book, we're kind of understanding that Le Boisseux maybe isn't the traitor he is seen to be, the demon that he is seen to be. He's kind of this neutral party because so many people have treated him like a monster, the French, the Spanish. He has no loyalties really anywhere but with his dog. And here we have this thing. I just like it because it talks about Griffin. Griffin, with his powerful jaws, could snap a man's arm with a shake of his massive head, possessed the gentlest of natures. Yet because of his looks, he was prejudiced equally as his ill-sharpened master by those who didn't know him. They both evoked fear and revulsion wherever they went. Two generous souls embodied in ungainly trappings. And that's really sad. That's really sad that they're both such little sweethearts, kind of, you know, they're tender guys that because society deems them evil and demonic because of their outwardly appearances, that they have no alliances with anybody because they have no friends. You know, why would Le Boisseux fight so hard for the French when they literally call him Le Boisseux, the hunchback? Cut back to Desiree. She's back at her house, like her family's house. And her mother and baby Anthony, that is her little brother's name, he is very sick. They have God knows what, because back then, giving birth, you were just dying all the time. And she really cuts to action. She's a shitty nun, damn good nurse. She immediately knows what herbs to get. She makes little packs. She makes little teas. She gets everybody in ship shape. And I just really hope she pursues. Sorry, I thought one of my goats were out. I really hope she pursues and continues midwifery if she does not keep up the sisterhood. I really hope she still pursues, because that's like a lot of information to just be thrown away. She could save a lot of lives. Because she saves her moms. And she's kind of given this Sophie's choice right now with, does she focus and save her lover? Or, you know, the guy she likes, they're not lovers at this moment in time. Does she focus her energies on saving Chance? Or does she focus her energies on her father? Sophie's choice. Hot guy, dad who gave you up to a convent. I personally would say screw them both and get them out, and get the hell out of there. But she decides to head back to town to talk to O'Reilly or whoever will hear her out. Because again, she thinks she can naively just go, hey guys, stop it. And they'll go, okay. It is raining. It is actually a hurricane that is happening. We love those in Louisiana. And the carriage flips with her in it. It's a big hurricane kerfuffle. You can't have a Louisiana book without a hurricane. And the carriage flips. She's okay, but then the driver has to reflip the carriage. The horse is screaming. She's a little stressed out. She needs to get to their townhouse, her family's townhouse in New Orleans. And so her butler is like, go on. You know, I'll reflip the carriage. I don't know. And she leaves them. But this part made me clutch my pearls so hard. She takes off her stockings and her shoes and runs barefoot down New Orleans to her townhouse in the rain. And she justifies it as no good woman would ruin her shoes in the rain. And I understand what you're saying. Montana shoes, they had to be cobbled. You couldn't just go to the store and buy them necessarily. They were expensive. But to run barefoot, and this was a older New Orleans. This was like horse carriages. So there was horse shit and pig crap and dog crap and probably human crap. Well, there's human crap now. But there's probably a lot of stuff on that sidewalk. And then the rain's just mixing it. People were very uneducated, right? People didn't understand germs back then. So I understand she didn't know what she was doing. But please, if I can say anything in this video, please don't run barefoot down Bourbon Street. Please. She gets to her townhouse. The Spaniards are in there. They have destroyed it. And they try to destroy her. But her other butlers like get her out. And so she's again running down the streets in the rain barefoot. Le Boisseur happens to see her. And he's like, what an idiot. Let me get her some help. He offers her a ride in his carriage. And she takes it because she's kind of like, I don't know where else to go. Because her carriage is flipped. Her house is invaded by looters and people just using all her crap. She can't go there. She has nowhere else to go. And so she does take his offer. She goes to Le Boisseur's house. It is actually very nice. It's a very nice home. It's very cozy. His staff really like him. The dog, Griffin, is super cute, super sweet. He jumps for treats. And the chef is just like, oh, Griffin, you know, and gives them food. And it's a very cozy environment. And Desiree's kind of like, oh, he doesn't live in like a dark, clammy mansion alone like I envisioned. This is actually a very warm environment. People really like him. The dog's super fun. Maybe I wasn't too awesome of a nun and judged somebody by their looks. However, she is perplexed and has to see Le Boisseur's face. Keep in mind, he wears a dark hood at all times. She has to see his face. I don't understand why. I don't have that inkling of curiosity in me where if my life is on the line, I ain't gonna ask questions. Okay? I'm not that white girl that's like walking in a haunted house like, hello, is anyone there? No. My ass is perfectly okay staying in a safe environment. I'm not one to solve mysteries. I won't ask questions. I value my life. But she has to see his damn face. This man is giving her generosity. A home, gives her she takes a bath. She wears a nice nightgown. He takes care of her, feeds her, lets her play with his dog. But she has to see his face. And she tries to sneak up on him while he's eating dinner because he asks, he says, look, I don't want to eat dinner with you because you'll see my face, but I'll like, when I'm done, you can come eat and I'll like keep you company. Again, he's a very nice man, but she can't have that. So while he's eating, she's trying to sneak a look. Ugh. And obviously, as she tries to peer around the corner, he's right behind her and he's just like, Mademoiselle, are you trying to catch a look at me? Catches her. Doesn't look too awesome. She looks like a dick. She goes to bed. She wakes up in the middle of the night. Again, she has to see Le Boisseau's face. I have never in my life, again, felt that hard of a curiosity. I don't give a fuck. You can wear a hood at dinner for the rest of your life. As long as I am clothed, bathed, treated nicely, I won't ask a damn thing. But she is 19 and an idiot, and she has to see. She has to see. So she goes into his room, and she sees a figure on his bed. No shit. And she creeps, and she really hopes the dog's not around, because she's like, oh, the dog's really going to ruin this. Dog's not around. And she gets close to the figure, and she's looking, and she's about to pull the covers. Mademoiselle! Ah! And she looks, and Chance is in a chair right behind her, like a parent waiting for you to sneak in at night. Terrifies her, rightfully so, scares the crap out of her. You're kind of like, why is Chance there? That's suspicious. We think that. She doesn't. He picks her up, and this line made me laugh. She was as light as an angel's whispered promise. The fuck does that mean? If that's the case, then I'm as heavy as the demon's shouted lie. But anyways, let it be known, I know these books are labeled as, smut. Let it be known, it takes this long for them to have sex. We are this far into this book, like halfway, and this is their first sex scene. She loses her virginity to him. Dios mío. But the whole time, she's just worried that the Le Boisseau is going to show up because they're in his bed. And Chance says this, he will not be back for a long time. We're as alone as we could ever hope to be, or as long as need be. And that stuck with me at this moment in time. That stuck with me. How does Chance know that? How does Chance know that? How is he so sure? And she loses her virginity. And the way it's written, again, the sex scenes in these novels are written very nicely. It was actually written in a very realistic way of how a nun losing her virginity, or just any girl, truly felt. Like it made me recall mine, of just, you're so confused. And Desiree, her body's saying one thing, her mind's saying another. She's struggling. It hurts, but not in a way that's concerning. Like it paints a very realistic picture of a young woman losing her virginity. And again, I give these authors credit, because I think that art is kind of lost nowadays, because I feel like a lot of virginity losing scenes at this moment in time that I have read in modern books is like, owie, it hurt, but I'm having a good time and I have no inklings of guilt whatsoever. And that's just kind of unrealistic, because even if you are raised in a sex positive environment, it's a big deal to lose your virginity, and it is scary. It's very scary. I don't know why I'm saying it like that. They have a very consensual, communicative, because Chance also talks to her the whole time, which is nice, but also kind of squiggly, because he's obviously very experienced and she's not. And you're kind of like, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know how I feel about that. But he does communicate with her, talks her through it, tells her, let me know if you want to stop. Let me know how you're feeling. I don't want to force you. I know that he understands this is a big deal, because she was a nun. And he's like, if this is an issue, I will hop right off. And they finish. She's happy. She feels like a shitty nun. Ooh. And she hears a lot of thumping, and she's like, fuck, Le Boisseau is returning. And she hears a lot of thumping. She gets stressed, runs back to her room. And we read that it is not Le Boisseau, but Griffin, the dog, is wanting to be let inside, because there is a secret compartment next to the bed that Chance knows how to open. So we, as the reader, are wondering, is Le Boisseau Chance? Is La Licorne, is the the angel of the resistance and the demon one and the same? I don't know. The next day, she has words with Le Boisseur, and she kind of puts her foot in her mouth a lot. I will read the gist of their conversation. I'm not going to read like she said tentatively, but I'll just give you kind of how it goes. Monsieur, I have come to take my leave of you and thank you again for plucking me from harm's way last night during the storm. Where will you go now, mademoiselle? Go? Why, home, I suppose. Back to your family plantation? Oui, of course. And so, your urgent mission to the city, it has been accomplished? My mission? But of course, surely you didn't travel in the midst of a raging storm without good reason. Oh, my reasons were of the utmost importance. Please, monsieur, I don't know if you are aware who I am. You're the daughter of Etienne Dufour, one of the accused. Then you must surely know why I had to come to the city. I appeal to you, to the generous heart that I know must lie beneath your... My what, mademoiselle? My deformities? Do you think me a monster? I don't deny that your first outward appearance frightened me, but are we not all blemished in one way or another? I appeal to that goodness, please, monsieur. I only ask that you give me some time before you condemn my father. And what makes you so sure I will condemn him? Do you think him guilty? My father has done nothing criminal. I can prove it if given time. Prove it, mademoiselle. Where is this evidence you claim to have? There are forces at work. Forces? And what do you know of such unladylike pursuits, ma petite nonne? Monsieur, I only ask that you don't make a hasty decision when it comes to human lives. Rest assured, mademoiselle, that although I make no promises as to my decision, I fully intend to weigh the evidence carefully. If you have proof of your father's innocence, then bring it to me. Ah oui, monsieur. And through that one-woman show, you get the vibe that she just kept putting her foot in her mouth. She doesn't know to say less. Say less, Desiree. Say less. Because she just fully admits like, oh, but my father will be condemned. And he's like, why would he be condemned if he's innocent? Where were you running off to in the rain last night? What would you know of forces if you're a nun? Like, shut the fuck up, Desiree. Go on. Now, she goes out to speak to O'Reilly, and she's really conceited because she thinks people will notice her if she's just walking around, that everybody knows Desiree Dufour, who's been in a convent since she was 8. Luckily, everybody is kind of focused on the hurricane destruction, you know? No one's real focused on the girl in a revealing dress running around. She goes to the general to meet with him. She thinks, again, that she can just like talk these men out of a war. Le Boisseur himself is very frustrated with her. Chance is frustrated with her because she won't like fuck off. And now Le Boisseur is like, this Dufour girl needs to go home. She is getting into like, I hate to say it, but a lot of these men are having to save her butt. And they need to be preoccupied with like bigger things going on than worrying about this damn nun running around. So Le Boisseur again escorts her home way out near like their out plantation home. He's like, you got to be out of the city. You are causing so much shit. And they are being robbed by La Licorne. And this happens. They literally shoot at her. Like they shoot at the carriage. And she's an idiot. And she's like, what is happening? And Le Boisseur says, little fool, do you not possess not even the sense of a chick to get out of the rain before it drowns? What is going on? It appears we are being waylaid. Robbed? La Licorne. Chance, I am here. Don't be so sure that he is, mademoiselle. And this weird, I had to reread it a few times. she is rescued by Chance. And I'm like, how? If he is Le Boisseur, how the hell did he get out of Hunchback drag and into Chance La Licorne drag so quickly? Because it doesn't really say. It says essentially there was Raoul is Robin, and the guys are Robin Le Boisseur. He hears Raoul and Le Boisseur whispering, and then she is yanked out of the carriage, and it is Chance. And I'm like, how did that happen? I don't know. He takes her back to camp. They make love again. They argue over her father. Because he's just like, look, if I had to stop a war for every dad I put in danger, like, I love you, but like, forest for the trees. Forest for the trees, Desiree. I love your dad. He's a great guy. He is serving his purpose. He got caught. I can't stop big plans to go after your dad. He sends Desiree back to the convent. Again, he's just like, stay. For the love of God, stay, please, and let me run a revolution. I will save your dad. I promise I will save your dad. For the love of God, just stay. You're really, every time you leave, you think you're helping, you're not helping. You're slowing us down. You're like a toddler wanting to tie their own shoes. I love the energy. I love the independence. You're really slowing this down. So she's back at the convent. The men are getting kind of fed up with Chance and his Yoko Ono. They are getting frustrated because they're like, hey, we got to go get the ship ready. And he's like, no, like, I can't fuck with the ship right now. I got to like wait for Desiree to come back. And they're like, okay, well, we need to initiate like this other plan of attack. And he says, no, I gotta go like infiltrate and like get her dad. And Raoul and the guys are just pissed because he's very distracted by this girl. And they say, look, we get she's cute. We're glad you're having a good time. Lucky you. Bigger fish to fry, mon ami. Bigger fish to fry than worrying about your girlfriend's dad. Desiree finally gets to her father. She goes back to the convent, remember? And she puts on her habit again. Back in the habit. And she goes with the sisters to talk to her dad as they, pray for the prisoners. Because that's the only way she can see them. And he is excited to see her. Oh my God, my daughter. He says, I'm so happy you are you are in the convent. I heard rumors that you were running around with La Licorne or with General O'Reilly, and you were just acting a damn fool and embarrassing the family name. And she says, I have his pledge to rescue you. His? Dufour asked, do you mean the unicorns? She nodded readily, anticipating the relief and gratitude he would express. And what did you exchange for such a promise? He demanded, horrified, releasing her, swaying backward. Papa, it is not how you think. I have pledged him my heart. But it is your virtue that he took, is it not? Papa, please. No, I don't want to hear it, Desiree. It was bad enough that I must die with the folly of my own actions weighing heavily upon my soul. But now I must take yours with me as well. You have shamed the Dufour name, daughter. Leave me. So she does all this whole freaking book, all this crap to get her daddy free. And he's like, I sent you to a convent to protect you. I loved you. I wanted you protected from men. You literally screw the unicorn, my daughter, and you think he's going to rescue me because he promised you his heart. Like, he knows men. He's a man. And he's just, oh boy, to be a parent and read this, you're just like, oh, you dumb girl, you dumb girl. All those years in the convent, all those years. And you literally screw the first vigilante that shows up. And then we cut back to the camp. Remember, Chance is like waiting to go get Desiree and rescue her dad. The guys are super ticked. The Spanish invade them, destroy the camp. They found out where they were. They found their secret swamp road and found out, and they burn the camp down and start killing everybody. Chance is stabbed by Major Narvaez, and as he's stabbed, he kind of has an inkling of like, ooh, did Desiree betray me? Was she the virgin bait to lure the unicorn? And he kind of sees the irony of the situation of like, oh, her dad was really important to her. The Spanish could have promised his freedom if she would have used her womanly guiles to lure me. Oh, I'm such a fool. As he is taken as prisoner, he asks, who gave us up? Hey, who told you where we were? And the Spanish say, the nun. Duh. And poor Chance, he sees that it was Desiree, and he falls in defeat. He just slumps his shoulders and he gives up. He's like, I've been caught. I'm done for. Chance does not return to pick her up from the convent as promised the next day. So she dresses in nun drag again. And she also, no one can find Sister Therese. Where is Sister Therese? So she is off on a mission to find Sister Therese and Chance, because she's been just, 10 for 10 so far. As she is walking down the streets, she sees that Chance is paraded down the streets in chains. The Spanish are saying, ha ha ha, we have your unicorn. Stupid French. And Desiree, it's a dramatic moment of she's in her nun habit. Chance looks up, sees her. She mouths like, Chance. And he looks at her and then just looks away. Cold shoulder, if you will, as he's being dragged behind a horse in chains. It's an awkward little moment for their relationship. Mother Superior promises Desiree she will help her get Chance out for the sake of love. Because one time, Mother Superior was in love. And she promised God that she would never stop true love ever again, because she stopped her own. Some weird backstory with her, like, she's like, oh, I promised God I would never let love slip from my fingers again. And here it is. I will help you with your love. And at this point in time, the reader, if you're like me, I'm just like, this all could have been an email. This all could have been avoided if Desiree just would have sat in that convent and learned to love maybe another sister or herself, if you catch my drift. But because she had to go on a damn horny rumspringa and try to save the dad that doesn't even want her, Louisiana is going to lose our independence to the Spaniards. And there's this little quote in the book. 'Twas a shame they couldn't have met under different circumstances. Hell, it was a pity their paths had to ever cross at all. History would have no doubt been better served if they hadn't. So, if Desiree would have sat in her convent, who knows what could have happened? Chance could have succeeded. She sees Chance in prison, says, I know how I can help. I know who will help us. And Chance is like, who? Les Boisseux. And the eye roll you can feel Chance give her. Because we know, we have an inkling that Chance is either super tied to Les Boisseux, if not Les Boisseux himself. And Chance is like, you dumb girl. You think Les Boisseux, and she's just being a naive little girl. And she's like, no, he's super helpful. He's super nice. I know he will help us. He's a good man. Even if he's ugly. Guess what? Ugly people can be good people. And Chance is like, I'm going to die. This bitch is going to get me killed. I'm an idiot. I led with my different heart, my different organ, and here I am chained up in a Spaniard's prison. And Chance says this, and this is his parting words to Desiree. What a little fool you are, Desiree. Can you not see the truth? The commande de chemin is powerless to help any of us now. He laughed low and bitter. Perhaps he always was. My death and your father's as well is upon your head, woman. All because you refuse to trust me. Go. Let it be. You and I have both done enough harm. Go back to your sheltered world of God and prayers. You are never meant to leave it. God will forgive you, even if I never do. And wowie wow. To be broken up with, like, and be told that your father's death and the man you love's death is your fault and you should have stayed in your sisterhood and now God's mad at you. Thank goodness Desiree is pretty and dumb, because I don't think she understands how low she needs to feel. Because boy, has she dug herself a little hole. She goes to Le Boisseau's home. Because again, it has not clicked in her little head. Her little permed head that Chance is Le Boisseau. So she goes to his house and wonders, why is it deserted? No one is here. Where is everybody? Oh, there's like cobwebs and dust. It seems like no one's been here for days. And she finds Griffin starving. He's nothing but like, he's so hungry. You can see his ribs. And she gives him water and he's holding on to Le Boisseau's glove. And so she tries to get his glove, but he's like pissed at her and he's like, no. And she gives him food in exchange for the glove. And she wonders where that secret passage is, because she thinks back to that night she lost her virginity and she's like, there's a secret passage in here, because the sound was coming from behind the bed. So she's trying to find it. She's having an inkling of a fucking thought. She's trying to find it. And so she has the smart move of, I'll get Griffin to show me where it is because he might know. He's Le Boisseau's dog. And so in exchange for food, she's like, where's the door, Griffin? And he's pointing to the actual door. And she's like, no, silly, the other door. Where's the other door? He's like, oh, okay. And he points to behind the bed and she's running around trying to find it. She finds the lever. She pulls it, leads to a deep, dark cave underground. Griffin bolts down there. He knows where it is. And she's like, shit. And so she's got to go down in this icky, sticky catacombs, if you will. And she finds a casket. I'd be creeped out. Ooh, again, I don't have this curious bone in my body. She finds a casket. And she finds Le Boisseau's garments and like this weird hump apparatus. And then she hears, you know, Master? Master, is that you? And Griffin starts growling. Who's coming down the stairs? It is. And as she's holding Griffin back, because he's wanting to attack, it's Philippe, you know, the Alfred, the butler. And her dumb self goes, and like lets go of the dog. And he attacks Philippe.
Okay, I'll check. I found the short.
She finally gets Griffin off of poor Philip and says, sorry, didn't know it was you. Ooh. Whoopsie poopsie. Didn't mean to put a giant, pit bull on you. Or Rottweiler or whatever the hell he is. She finds the judge's book of stuff in the city. And there are no records of a Chance Lagrange, which is his full name. There's no record. He doesn't exist technically. Her dumb self is slowly putting together. Is Chance Le Boisseau? Oui, he is. Good job, Desiree. Good job. And if her smartness could not be stopped at this point, she decides, I will dress as Le Boisseau. And I will plead for Chance and my dad's freedom, which isn't a bad idea. If she had the inkling to pull this off, but it's a good idea, but she executes it terribly. Chance, meanwhile, is in prison. He hears of Desiree's wanted like they're after her and they will kill her. And he's like, oh my God, I don't want my girlfriend to die. I hate her, but I love her. So he will confess to O'Reilly that he has been Le Boisseau this whole time in exchange for her freedom. It's a very Pocahontas, John Smith moment of like these two lovers caught in this like really messed up resistance war. And one will exchange the other's, like one of them's, they're both willing to die for each other. And so Chance says this, Viva la Louisiane, viva la liberté, he proclaims, struggling to rise against the hands that held him down. The blinding pain that came from behind was not unexpected. Then the blessed darkness descended, blotting out his failures one by one. His last thoughts were of the woman who had brought the destruction upon them all with her betrayal, Desiree. More precious than any freedom he had ever fought for or lost. Desiree. If she had just stayed by him, believed in him just a little, he might have been victorious. This is a mess. Their relationship's a mess at this point. She goes to O'Reilly dressed as Le Boisseau. Does a terrible job of being Le Boisseau. She does not... She literally puts on the drag, imitates his voice, but then acts like Desiree and is like, these are good men. They do not deserve to die. They were just fighting for a cause. Wouldn't you? We must free them for their family's sake. And obviously O'Reilly is like, who the fuck are you? And he snatches her hood and sees the damn girl. And he's like, God damn it, you. Oh, you've been such a pain in my ass. Like, oh. Chaos ensues. Griffin goes to attack O'Reilly, and as he's attacking O'Reilly, she leaves. Now, she does struggle with leaving Griffin, but she can't get the dog off of the guy, and it's the only time she can run away. And so it is understood that in the line of duty, Griffin passes away, saving her life. Moment of silence for Griffin.
Go rest high on that mountain. The sun you work on earth is done.
As she is running away, she goes, again, much like the Alaskan book we read, they're running back and forth all over New Orleans and like the area surrounding it as if it's like a damn cul-de-sac. Like she's now back at the encampment. It's charred to bits, ruined. She's having a mental breakdown with Philippe. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know how to save her daddy. She doesn't know how to save Chance. She's a shitty nun. She's a shitty daughter. She's a shitty lover. She's gotten so many people in so much danger at this point. And so Philip's just like, what are we going to do? What do we do? What do we do? And she has a mental breakdown and just starts clawing at the ground. And she's like, we'll just bury the bodies, I guess. We'll just bury all these bodies. It's the only thing that we can do. And he's like, we don't have a shovel. And she just starts with her bare hands, just trying to dig a grave, crying. Girl is having a breakdown. Rightfully so. She's kind of ruined all of Louisiana's chances of independence. Just saying. She hears other crying. She thinks it's a bird. She hears other crying and she sees Sister Therese caressing a charred, broken body. It is Raoul. Come to find out, Raoul is Sister Therese's brother. And she is the one who told the Spaniards and O'Reilly where the encampment was. She promised that she did not know that they were going to burn it down. Again, these nuns, please stay in your convent. Please don't join a revolution. Your lack of battle knowledge doesn't help. Okay? Pray over the dead bodies. Take in the sick, take in the poor, help women have babies, but my God, stay out of like warfare, please. Raoul is laying there dying in his sister's arms, and he has a key. A key to Pandora's box, if you will. Kind of. Gives the key to Desiree. and says, I want you to have this. Go open that box behind a bush that they didn't find. She opens the box with the key. And what is inside? La Licorne. The horn, the mask, the cape, the hat. She realizes what she must do. She must be La Licorne. Sister Therese prays over her, says you will be like Joan of Arc, but with pistols. She gives her guns. Keep in mind, Desiree does not know how to ride a horse, never shot a gun in her life. Best of luck to you, sister. Cut back to Chance. The prisoners are being executed one by one, which is very unnerving, but it's the Spanish. They're kind of known for their torturous techniques, if you will. So Chance is literally watching his friends being shot, one, and then God knows it takes like 20 minutes for them to reload those muskets. So he has time to like think. He's both bored and terrified. Desiree arrives. She's charging through the French Quarter. Everybody's like, La Licorne! Yeah! She shoots that pistol at some guy because he's attacking her, a Spanish guy. And bless Cavalier, the horse. She literally says the horse does all he can to try to keep her on him. Because a good horse will do that. If you're an inexperienced rider and you're on like a really well-trained horse, the horse will help you. Because it can tell that you're inexperienced. Anyways, Cavalier's doing his best, trying to keep her on him. Like, okay. She shoots the pistol. She falls off. Now, this part confused me, and I reread it 3 times. I don't know, but she blacks out because she like hits her head. If she wakes up in Chance's arms, keep in mind, Chance is shackled and in an execution yard. So did she fall in the execution yard? I don't know. She wakes up to Chance. He puts on the chapeau and the mask, and he's like, you know, thank you. I will rescue you. Please just stay where I put you. Please. I'm going to put you right here. Don't move. Please. Please don't move. He's begging her. Please don't move. Just stay. He puts her under the stairs. Says, here you go. For the love of God, stay. Stay. She doesn't stay. She is nervous because on the stairs is Major Narvaez, General Narvaez, whatever he is, the Spanish captain. And she's literally so close to him, she could like tie his shoelaces together and make him trip. And I understand in this situation, you're weighing the odds of like, ooh, he could see me. I should probably like get out of here. So she is like, I'll make a run for the prison and I'll go hide for the prison. The prison's over there. She will be seen. And I just feel like if you're in Desiree's position, okay, let's try to put ourselves in her position. We want to help. We want to help. We're weighing what we're good at. We're not good at riding horses. We're not good at shooting pistols. Probably going to take a stab at not good at sword play. Don't. And we have to weigh what we're good at. Okay? Now, if I'm in this situation, I'm going to be like, okay, I'm going to start stealing shit. I'm going to start stealing. I'm going to tie shoelaces together. Like I said, I'm going to trip. I'm going to do something. I'm going to do something to slow them down. I'm going to do something to help that I'm good at, that I'm capable of doing. But no, she makes a dart towards the prison to go hide there. Of course she is seen. And Narvaez is like, oh my God, go get her. Chance, distraction, looking at her dumb self, getting caught by the guards. He gets stabbed in the chest. At this point, I'm so angry at Desiree. I'm so angry. Chaos ensues. Narvaez has the one up on Chance. Cuts down his sword. Chance is on his back. Narvaez is over him with his sword, just like, haha, I will kill you, and I will kill your stupid little girlfriend. You are an idiot. And Chance notices his shackles are wrapped kind of around Narvaez's foot. And he does the loop-de-loop. I trip him with my handcuffs, my shackles, my chains. Here we go. Because his chains, for some reason, are long, which in hindsight seems really stupid. But anyways, for the plot progression, he pulls Narvaez trips and Chance stabs him and kills Narvaez. The Spanish guards are very confused as to what to do at this point. They're like, ooh. Chance looks around at all the other Frenchmen and is kind of given the look of every man for himself. Get your shit, get your horse, and get the fuck out of here. Because O'Reilly is probably going to show up. Probably. They go down, Chance and Desiree. She's like, I have to free my dad. That's the whole point of this book, Chance. I have to free my dad. Even though my dad's super mad at me. She goes down to free her dad. Her dad's a dick. Her dad, this whole plot of this book was freeing her dad. They get down there. Open the door. Go. And her dad says, no. No. O'Reilly promised me and the guys a lighter sentence. So we're going to stay and serve a lighter sentence. Your mom's fine. The kids are fine. The townhouse, I know it was being robbed and looted. It's fine. Everything's fine now. If we promise to stay and serve a lighter sentence, O'Reilly will serve Louisiana well. And I hate to say it, but it's kind of given, I hate to be political, but this is mine. I can say whatever I want, but it's kind of given how a lot of conservative freedom fighters support Trump. And you're kind of looking like, that's your guy? And at the end, Dufour is just like, yeah, we trust him. He's going to do us well. He works for the Spanish. Betrayed his own, country for the Spanish. Wants to kill us, but promised us lighter sentences in exchange, for our family's safety. We trust him. We trust him. Not my problem at this point. He literally looks at his daughter and is like, what are you going to do? Not that rude. Like, they do make up, but he still is just like, there's no place for you here. You can't go back to the convent because you fucked the lunatic gown. And you can't come back home because you're a wanted woman. O'Reilly will kill you. You're putting your family and your friends in danger by existing, essentially. Same with Chance. He looks at Chance and he's like, where are you going to go? Where y'all going to go? What's your plan? And Chance says, I'm going to go to New England. Okay. I got people up there. So he's going to go to New England because he's got kicked out of France. He's kicked out of Louisiana now because his dumb self, like the Chapel Roan song, if it was for Chance, it would be my kink is freedom. His kink is freedom. This man cannot not start a revolution. And so he's going to go to New England. He's got people there. And him and Etienne are talking about Desiree as if she's not there. Which she kind of is like, what are y'all talking about? Because Etienne's like, you promised to take care of her. Chance says, yes, I promise, like our agreement on this union. And Desiree's like, a union? What are y'all talking about? Once again, like in all these novels, this girl is waylaid with marriage. She is told she will be married. And so she's torn, but understands because she's like, I did all this for my father. My father doesn't want me here. I guess I'll go with Chance. Chance tells Desiree, go to the ship. Go to the car. Very much go to the car and wait for me. He says, go to the ship and wait for me. Does she do that, class? No!
I should not have to be coming here, hat in my hand, reminding you about your duty to that man.
He's fighting the Spaniards. She sees that he's in trouble. She goes and gets the nuns and the father to help.
Hello, brides of Christ.
And they go down there and they tell the Spanish, who are heavily Catholic, like, we need to pray over these dead bodies. Stop this fighting. I'm here to claim these dead bodies. And the Spanish are very confused because they don't want to piss off Catholicism, but at the same time, They have to kill these Frenchmen. What do you do? So Chance grabs Desiree in the moment of confusion, grabs her, gets on Cavalier, rolls out. And they're headed to the ship, and she says, "We must get Philippe." And he's like, "The butler?" Ugh. She's right. But God damn it. If they survived this, Chance would no doubt make her his wife. He promised her father that, and if nothing else, Chance Lagrange was an honorable man. But he would never trust her, nor would he love her. Now, she's kind of thinking this. She's thinking this whole time that Chance will never trust her. He's literally sacrificing everything for her left and right, but because she's so self-loathing and naive, I don't know what her deal is. She's like, no, he doesn't love me. She laughed inwardly at the irony of it all. Her entire life, she had sworn she wanted nothing to do with love. It seemed that God had gladly granted her foolish request. They get Philippe. They evade the Spanish. They make it to the ship. And he has this exchange, which I love Chance's humor. Free? Freedom is a relative term. Freedom is a state of mind. So is happiness, Desiree. And so is trust. Capitan, if you will position your other wrist so that I can remove the shackle. Please hurry, Jean. This state of mind is killing me. And again, he can't not be Chance and like be silly, you know, because she's like, oh, freedom is a state of mind. And he's sitting there wearing shackles. Like, oh, okay. Tell every slave that ever. But he loves her, God willing. She is very mad at him because he is being silly. And she's just like, oh my God, you are infuriating. You will not be serious with me. And she goes, and he's fussing over Cavalier because he's wanting to get his horse on the boat and keep his horse calm while they're at sea. And she's just like, he is more frustrated over that fucking horse than me. And she's mad because she jumps back to when she told him that Griffin was dead. And he died in the line of duty. And he was very upset with her, rightfully so, because her stupidity kind of, like, she saved Griffin, but then she kind of got him killed. And he's very upset. And she immediately, like a narcissist kind of, was just like, well, it's not my fault. And then she struggles with like, well, if he didn't care about his dog and his horse, I don't know if I'd like that either. So she's having 19-year-old thoughts of just like not knowing what she feels about anything. They fight and reveal it all. She reveals that she was hired to betray him, that she was supposed to turn him in. She fell in love with him. He reveals that he was Le Boisseux, he reveals that his brother was the actual real Le Boisseux. And his brother passed away 6 months ago. And so he took up his brother's residence and identity. His brother was an actual hunchback. And so he created his brother's drag and took up his house and his job because he was like, it's a pretty sweet gig. No one bothered me. But then the resistance happened. Things, you know, and so they both admit that they lied to each other because it wasn't right for him to never tell her, hey, I'm Le Boisseux. And it wasn't right for her to put everybody's lives in danger. She, again, struggles with her dad and that relationship. If she did all this for her dad, and now what is she going to do? Because her dad kind of promised her off to La Licorne, and she does not want to marry Chance unless he promises to chill out and stop getting involved in revolutions. Like, she wants him to promise that they will move to Virginia, he'll become a farmer, she'll raise babies, happily ever after. He promises that. He finds a man to marry them at sea. They pick him up at a port, and his name is General Arnold. And they have a wedding, and it's very nice. The crew makes her a wedding dress of all their shirts, all their nicest silk shirts. They make her a very nice wedding gown, and that was a really sweet moment. And General Arnold marries them. And as they are laying in their bed in the ship headed to New England or Virginia, wherever, she doesn't really know, she is looking at the wedding license, and she can't read English. And she's looking at it, and she's like, what does this say? And he's trying to get it on with her and consummate their marriage, and he's kissing her, and he's just like, don't worry about it, just a marriage license. And we have learned in these novels, read the fine print, women. Read the fine print. And she's trying desperately to make out what it says, and she's like, who is this General Benedict Arnold? And he's like, oh, he's like this friend of mine, and he's wanting me to like help him out with some stuff in Philadelphia. Apparently the English are taxing them super crazy, and so he's just wanting some like advice. And she's like, no, you promised me you would stay out of revolutions. And he's like, of course. What do you think about a honeymoon in Philadelphia? And she's like, she's naive. She doesn't understand where anything is and what's going on. And she's like, what's in Philadelphia? Truly, what is in Philadelphia? A crack bell? Or is that in Boston? I don't know. Anyways, he's cutting back to before they were getting married. General Arnold and him, General Benedict Arnold and him, had a discussion of, look, some of us guys in Philly aren't really enjoying the English kind of pressing down on us. We would like for you to come help us with our own resistance. And Chance is like, I wasn't too good at it. I failed. Probably not the man. And Benedict Arnold is like, well, your failures, we could learn from them. Like, you have something to offer us. Please come up to Philly and help us out. And I am laughing reading this. I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? So they're laying in bed, consummating their marriage. He promises he will not get involved in another revolution. Me and you know his kink is freedom. And Desiree's just laying there just like, oh, we are going to have a beautiful life. We are going to be in Virginia and have a baby. And he's going to be so in love with farming and everything will be safe. And here, let us read the last passage of this novel. She was so sure that once they reached Virginia, Chance would forget all about such foolish plans. She sighed, quite confident. She would see he had more than enough to keep him busy, enough to keep him out of trouble. She had absolutely nothing to worry about. The New England colonists would never rebel, for the Spanish would never try to take them over. The British foothold in the New World was much too strong. No one would ever challenge it. No, she and Chance were quite safe from such temptation. She smiled to herself, even as she gave in to the rising tide of passion. Yes, she was sure she knew exactly what it took to keep a man like Chance Lagrange focused on the truly important things in life. Never again would outside forces come between them. They were in love. And lovers as special as they were always destined to live happily ever after. Yeah, that's the ending. Benedict Arnold hires Chance Lagrange to help him with the American Revolution. I can't help but think, is Chance Lagrange in that photo? Montana. The portrait of General Washington as he's like going down that glacier river. Like, is Chance Lagrange in there? You know he is. His kink is freedom. Do we owe Independence Day to La Licorne? Do we owe the failure of the Louisiana French Revolution to Desiree? I feel, okay, my thoughts on this relationship, revolution, what have you. I love Chance. Chance is a good time guy. His quips, his banter, very Cajun Creole humor. Really enjoy him. He reminds me of the humor of like Captain Phoebus, of Prince Naveen. Very dry, very witty. But he gets distracted. Now, Desiree, I am frustrated with. She has her moments, and I feel very maternal towards her because she is just a bebe. Much like Catherine in the last novel, these are little babies that are thrust into very grown situations. And they are having to figure out a lot of things real quick because this takes place in like a week, days. And I'm angry with, I'm not angry at you, Desiree. I'm disappointed. Okay? Disappointed. I just felt like maybe if you would have explored your own body or some of your sisters, you would have been more satisfied and safer in the convent, because we all know she's not going to enjoy her relationship with Chance if his kink is freedom and if hers is obedience. Like, this is not going to bode well, because me and you both know Chance is probably going to die in a blaze of glory and leave her stranded with children, you know, somewhere in freaking Philadelphia. Oh my God. And it's so cold up there. She's not going to know what to do. She's a Louisiana girl. I went to New York once in January. I thought I was going to die. It was a cold I had never experienced in my life. We're not cut out for that. Ugh. And her dad don't want her. I mean, he does. She can't. She's too prideful. Remember, her sin is pride. She's too prideful to go back. When Chance probably ends up dead, she's probably not going to go back. Oh, God. Again, my little baby girl, just stay in the convent. You'd been so much safer. This book was wild. I loved every minute of it because it was so camp. There were hunchbacks. There were dead brothers. There were dogs, whatever. There were nuns that were banded together to fight the Spaniards. There were father problems. There was La Licorne. There was a lot going on. It kind of really, these books really read, you have to read them in like a soap opera telenovela kind of way. Of just, it's ludicrous. Enjoy it. Let go. Let God, and just enjoy them. They're not going to make sense. They're going to get married by Benedict Arnold. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And my God, are you going to laugh and enjoy it to the end. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I am tired of reading about 18 and 19-year-old girls. I'm tired about reading these little old white baby girls stumbling into historical, insane situations. So let us see if our Mexican sisters can do it better. We are going to be reading Mexican Fire by Martha Hicks. That is my next book. I haven't read to see how old she is. I am praying that she is at least older than 23. But I'm wanting to read to see if our Mexican sisters, what they do in these situations, how they handle it. Because so far, the white girls, Alexa did the best she could. I like Alexa. I like how she kind of handled situations. Kat was insane. Okay, her and Landis, they were cold, they were horny, they were hungry. Desiree was struggling with things much bigger than herself. She was struggling with religion, her sexuality, her daddy. She was struggling with a lot, okay? She needed a therapist. Now let's see what Alejandra, what she gets into and handles. Now I will read the back, little preview. She despised him. As her beloved Mexico teetered on the brink of overthrow by the ruthless dictator Santa Anna, beautiful Alejandra Sierra schemed with her countrymen to defeat him. They needed a spy from his ranks. And who better than Texas soldier of fortune, Reese Montgomery? It was Alejandra's job to charm the arrogant flaxen-haired Reese into helping their cause, a job she despised, for he was an unscrupulous traitor, loyal only to gold. But when she felt the fire in his soul and the hunger in his kisses, Alejandra found herself cursing her own seduction and her own burning need for his masterful touch. He adored her. Reese Montgomery had his own private reasons for being on General Santa Anna's payroll. Still, he didn't trust the general, and he'd bet the raven-haired beauty who'd come to bribe and seduce him was part of an elaborate trap. Well, Reese didn't plan on falling for it. But then he didn't plan on Alejandra's lips being sweeter than a warm Gulf breeze, or her green eyes promising more passion than an erupting volcano. He would not trust her motives, yet he could not deny his blazing desire to bury himself in her fiery Mexican passion. Let it be known real quick, I love Mexican shit. I love the food. I speak Spanish. I love the shows. I love the people. I love the culture. I love the art. My nails are actually like the Mexican pottery. I don't know. I know people who love Japanese stuff are called weebs, and people who love South Korean stuff are Koreaboos. And then like Francophiles, and I don't know what are people who love Mexican shit called? A damn good time. But I am very excited for this one because I am wondering just how far the fetishism will go. Like, will she be a stereotypical fiery Mexican woman, you know, that we see fetishized a lot? Will there be any depth to her character? I think so, because so far we have seen the people of color in these novels treated very well. So I'm having high hopes that she will be given a lot of depth to her character instead of, say, a Netflix adaptation where she sprinkles, you know, Spanish words over her things like, oh, mi abuela, she would make us a lot of conchas with café. You know, just stupid stuff like that. So I'm very excited for it. And so, yeah, let us see next month. These are kind of reading, honestly, like grown American girl novels. Like if the American girls, if Josefina grew up, you know, if that's the only one I know. If Abby grew up, you know, Samantha. These are like grown American girl novels. So if you're an American girl back in the day, these are actually really fun to read because they're actually really historical and just silly. They're just silly. All right, kids, I'll see y'all next month.